everybody, this is Dana with the Freedom Please channel and essenceofme.com. I'm coming to you all today because I want to answer some of the questions that I have been receiving about the scrap yarn crochet-along. I am excited because I have started receiving pictures from people, which is always exciting to see, but I've been also receiving questions. And so what I'm going to do in this video is answer some of the questions that I've already received and responded to. I also want to let you know that I am available to answer the questions that you have. So in the description box, I will put a link to a blog post that I'm going to place this video in, as well as the answers to the questions that I am going to answer in this video. That will be a great place so that everyone can place their questions on one post, and it will help people in the future that come after we have finished during this time to answer their questions as well. If you do not submit the questions to me on my website, the other questions have been submitted on Facebook through the fan page. Just look for Essence of Me. You will see the brown logo with the butterfly, and that is my fan page. You can also submit the questions here on YouTube, and I've done some in the comments section, but I've also received some by direct message. So let's get started. Okay, some of these things have been comments that I want to address, and others have been questions, and so let's get started. The first thing that I want to talk about is someone put up a comment saying that they were interested in seeing the pictures as the projects go along because they wanted to see people's color combinations. And what she said is because I'm not very matchy, and I totally get that. That's why I love this project. I don't consider myself a matchy person or a person that's really good with color combinations. I can make it work, but that is, I don't think, like my strongest, my strongest point when it comes to crocheting. I've learned how to get around that. That is why I think it is so great when you pick a good base color and that you allow that base color to help you out. Another thing that you can do as you organize your scraps, start putting them maybe in color combinations, or you could even sort of create a pattern. Like, for example, if you know you have several shades of green or several shades of blue, you may do all green shades, then all blue shades, or you may do a green shade, then a blue shade, a green, like it doesn't have to be the same green every time or the same blue because we're using scraps. But the base color, having that repetitive every other row, will make everything come together and kind of have this synergy of the project. So that is, I believe, is one of the greatest things about this project, other than the fact that almost anybody, as long as you can do those basic stitches, can make a blanket or a shawl or a throw that will look fantastic in, however much time you allow to do it. So that will cover, whether or not you're concerned about the colors and what you can do to kind of get over that hurdle. But above all, have fun, just have fun with this. Another question that I received was concerning whether or not I thought it would be a good idea to have scraps used for the base rows. Again, you can do whatever you want to. This is your piece, but it would be my suggestion or recommendation that you don't. And here's why. The reason why the colors start looking so well together is because that base color breaks it up enough before you move on to the next. So I would strongly suggest that your base row is a solid. Any color solid will usually work. I mean, if you looked at my pieces, I love blacks, I love browns, I'm using black. You will see a picture at the end of someone that uses a very pretty, like a lilac or a light purple color. That is great. And I'm going to show the pictures that I've received so far at the end of this video. So you could take a look at those color combinations and see if that will help you. But it would be my suggestion to use a solid as your base color, the same solid for the entire piece, and then just let it rip with your wave rows, with your color combinations, with your scraps. Another question that I received is whether on your base row, if that the chain counts as the first stitch. The answer to that question is no. The chain does not count as your first stitch. You will need to complete a half double crochet in that first stitch on your base row, okay? So if you have not done it up until this point, if you laid out your throw or blanket or shawl flat on the floor or on a flat surface, you will start seeing that your sides may be starting to turn in, and that is why. As you continue, you are slowly losing stitches. What I suggested, because this particular person sent me a picture, and so this is what I suggested to her, and I will suggest to you. Well, first of all, if you find yourself in a real huge pickle, take a picture, send it over to me, and let's see what we can do. But this is how you can gain those stitches back. First of all, don't sweat about it. The good thing about crochet, it is very forgiving, and you can fix just about anything, okay? What I would suggest is I would suggest slowly adding back the stitches that you have lost. Don't start over. Like, don't do that, because you can fix it when you do your border. And so what you're going to do is, if you look at the number, if you're losing your stitches on your base rows, then I would count the number of base rows that you have completed and estimate that that's probably roughly about the number of stitches that you have lost so far. Anywhere between the number of base rows to the total number of rows that you've completed. So what I suggest is adding in a stitch on, excuse me, maybe one on each end on your base row until you make up for those stitches. So what I mean is, let's say for example, you've completed 6 base rows and you've lost potentially a stitch for every base row. So then that means you've lost about 6 stitches. On your next base row, I would suggest going for a little while and then putting 2 half double crochets in one stitch. Keep going, and then put 2 half double crochets in another stitch and then finish it off. Then that means in that one row, you would have gained back 2 stitches. Do your wave row as normal. And then on the next base row, now here's what will happen. It's going to kind of add a little adjustment that you need to do on your wave row. And there are some people that have some perfect wave rows. Like, you all are better than me, okay? If so, when you are working on your wave row, pay attention to the row beneath the wave row that you used before, because it may mean that you need to throw in an extra have a double crochet to keep the wave going, to kind of mirror the waves below. And that's why you don't want to increase your stitches too much, too close together, because you can make the adjustments without it being noticeably different. And I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, add the comment either below in this on YouTube, but I will also put a link to a questions page for this crochet along, because I'd love for all the questions to be in one place, because I just think that's helpful so we don't have to pay scavenger hunt. And what I will do is, as time goes along and I receive additional questions, I will update that post. So when I add a new question, I will put update and put the date and then add the new question and continue that post, kind of like our a little home page, until everything is all said and done with the project. I talked about that. I talked about, oh, the length. Someone asked about the length of my piece, and I never did say that, so forgive me, because I just thought, because I started off wanting to do a shawl and then decided to continue with my blanket, that I thought people would still want to do shawls, but most of the people that have contacted me have decided to do blankets. So they asked, what was the length of mine? I do not know the exact number of chains, but I am guesstimating that it's between 4 to 4.5 feet. I measured the end of my bed, and my bed is a king size bed. And because eventually I want it to I don't want it to fall over. I just want it to be nice and comfortable and toasty. So I didn't make it so it'll be a bedspread. Mine will be like a lounging kind of blanket when I'm in the bed reading and stuff, and I don't want to get under the covers to go to bed, right? So I would guesstimate that's what my length is, and I intend for my width to be equally as long, if not a tad bit longer, so it would be more like a rectangle versus a square. So that is the length of mine. Oh, the last question that I have is, when you do the chain, you are doing a half double crochet in the back chain, and that is the only time you do it that way. All the other stitches, you're going to do them the standard way of going through, okay, I don't know the technical term, but just going through the hole and working as normal. We only work on those, the back, the little back hump stitch, the back stitch on the, when we're doing the chain. So for that first base, that's the only time. And one of the reasons why I do that is because I almost always do borders all the way around my piece, which is why it's called a border. But sometimes when people are doing shawls, they don't do it all the way around, and usually I do. And when I do that, I found that when I work in that back hump of the stitch, it makes it so that when I come back around to that side, it is so easy to add my border, because it will be just as if I'm working on the top side of the top row. And when you take a look at it and you flip it over, you'll see that it looks exactly like the top side of a standard row. And that's why I like working in the hump. I don't know what, I need to figure out what that's called. Anyway, you get the point. So you only do it on the base, on the chains. From there, you just do it as normal, and that will take care of you with that. So that is all the questions that I have received to this date. And if you have any questions, please, post the questions on the, I would prefer that you post the questions on the blog, so that they kind of make it as a community and people don't have to hop from video to video to find the questions. If it's easier for you to do it on the YouTube because you're probably watching this there, go at it. I'll answer it and transfer my response over there. But that will be helpful for me and everybody else that's a part of the crochet along. And at the end of this video, I'm going to add some of the pictures that I have so far. Please share your pictures. If you're on Facebook, look for Essence of Me and like the page, and you can always add a post and attach your picture. And once you've done that, I will actually repost it, as well as add your picture to my blog. And if you want me to share, like if you have a website or something like that, add that with your post, and I will do that. I don't have a problem with that, with pointing people to your page, or they can see where you are working the project. I think that's great. That's the great thing about crochet alongs. So that's all for me concerning the crochet along. I hope you all are enjoying this as much as I enjoy it. I have loved receiving your pictures. I've loved interacting with you all, and I can't wait to see what takes place from here on out. If you have any other comments, questions, or concerns, I look forward to interacting with you in the comment section, and you can visit me online at essenceofme.com. Take care, and I hope that I will talk with you all sooner than later. Goodbye.